It's time to see what James Franklin is cooking on the gridiron.
A feat not reached in 26 years happened.
And a lot of shakeup on the hardwood.
We've got all that and more on this edition of the 3304 First Pitch Show. Hello and welcome from the Center for the Arts studio in Blacksburg, Virginia. I'm Riley Klaus, joined today by Landon Weaver. Landon, there's sports going on, it seems like every hour practically in Blacksburg. But let's talk about the hardwood, where there's a whole lot of roster change up for women's basketball.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you lose Nelson, you lose Baker, but then you get Lauren Hurst and Alyssa Latham from Tennessee. Two pretty big ads, and Virginia Tech trying to search for a couple more to fill those extra holes, especially with Kel Peterson recently committing to Marquette. But what about the men's, Riley? There's been a lot of shakeup over there as well.
Yeah, a whole lot of losses. They're just trying to get some additions. We'll hear about one shortly. But with what they need to address still, to me, it's another defensive guard. I think down the stretch we saw in games that they were able to put up points, but they weren't able to stop the opponent from scoring. Mike Young likes having a slew of point guards on his roster, so I think them getting a combo guard or defensive specialist would be really big for that team.
Yeah, well, with all the losses, the Hokies needed to get a transfer sooner rather than later, and they did just that, snagging a big from Oklahoma. For more on Kual Atak, here's Austin Blakeman.
After the loss of Nicholas Abdalis and 6 other players in the NCAA transfer portal, the Virginia Tech Hokies are looking to replace some serious production, and they may have found exactly that in Kual Atak. Atak is a 6'9" forward from Fort Worth, Texas, and arrives with 3 years of eligibility remaining. As a redshirt freshman at Oklahoma last season, he averaged 12 minutes per game, but still managed to put up 7 points per contest, showing efficiency in limited action. The first thing that stands out about Atak is his size. At 6'9" and just 192 pounds, he's more of a perimeter threat than a traditional post player, something that actually works in his favor. His game is built around spacing the floor and knocking down shots from the outside, and that's where he fits perfectly in the head coach Mike Young's system. Atak shot 41% behind the arc last season and notched a season-high 24 points against Mississippi Valley State on 9 of 14 shooting, going 6 of 10 from deep. This is just one of the 6 games where Atak made 4 or more three-pointers. But beyond the numbers, it's potential that makes Kual Atak such an intriguing addition. And now with a fresh opportunity in Blacksburg, he'll have the chance to expand his role and show what he can do over a full season. For the Virginia Tech Hokies, that upside is exactly what this roster needs. This team is not looking to rebuild, but to retool with players who can grow into bigger roles. For Atak, this is more than just a transfer. It's an opportunity to prove he can handle a bigger role, an opportunity to compete at a high level on a nightly basis, and an opportunity to turn potential into production in Blacksburg. Kual Atak isn't just filling a gap, he's looking to make his mark.
Great stuff, Austin. You know what's crazy, Riley, is that on Tuesday night, me and you had the same amount of hits as Radford did. Yeah. The Hokies pitched a no-hitter.
That's absolutely incredible. And what's also fascinating with it, Virginia Tech was able to win in just 7 innings, right, because they were able to run roll the Highlanders, but 5 pitchers were able to accomplish that feat as opposed to just 1. They kept changing, and it didn't matter. They were able to shut down Radford, and so that was the first time since 2000 Virginia Tech recorded a no-hitter, and that gives some hope ahead of a conference series against Pitt. But I'll tell you what, while baseball is figuring it out, softball, it feels like all year long, has been rolling.
Yeah, look, there are only 10 games left for softball right now, but what's really impressive is that they're already in a spot where they can host a regional. They just got to close out the season, maybe even host a super regional if they get that far. Riley, there's a lot of national championship talk around this softball team. Maybe they could be the team for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'll tell you what, Tech Softball Park is ready for this weekend. An extra set of bleachers to try and contain the crowd, but the wall hasn't been great at containing the softball in the park. Hayden Talbert's over at TSP to tell us about what's been key for this squad.
Thanks, guys. Virginia Tech enters the final stretch of the regular season, driven by a high-power offense and a string of key series wins in ACC play. With that, the Hokies are ranked 10th nationally, and that ranking is backed by one of the most productive offenses in college softball, ranking 10th in home runs. A major factor in how impressive the Hokies have been in generating offense throughout the season is the power of showing up consistently, controlling games, and responding in key moments. Virginia Tech, ranking 3rd in the ACC, has shown that they can deliver on the road. Most recently, they took a series over their in-state rival, Virginia, closing a 3-game series with a shutout win against the ranked Cavaliers on the road. That was with the help of players in the circle like Emma Mazzarone and Brie Carrico. The star pitchers had 11 total kills and only allowed 4 total hits, which became crucial in a game where Virginia Tech didn't record a home run in the 3-game series for the first time since 2022. But the Heat quickly picked up in their next matchup when they scored 3 home runs against Liberty, winning 9-0. Now, Virginia Tech has a huge opportunity coming up in an upcoming series against Georgia Tech at home. The Hokies have a chance to become the #1 seed in the ACC softball championship, and to do that, they're going to need the help of the hitting duo Jordan Lynch and Addison Foster, both hitting above .410 this season and leading the team in runs. So, here we are. With around 10 games remaining, Virginia Tech is not only looking to secure a top spot in the ACC softball championships, but they're also looking to host a College World Series regional for the 6th straight year under Coach Pete DeMoore. And that is with impressive work on both sides of the ball and a strong road record. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Hayden. It's going to be an action-packed Saturday in Blacksburg. In addition to the Diamond Sports, a little teaser for what's to come in the fall is going down in Lane Stadium. Our own Jack Hurlbert knows what to look for at Virginia Tech football's spring game.
As warmer weather in Blacksburg starts to emerge, or should I say spring, Virginia Tech football fans circle a special date on their calendars, the Virginia Tech football spring game. The spring game in Blacksburg is an event Hokies fans cherish, allowing lesser-known backups to make a statement in an opportunity to secure playing time in the coming season. In addition, it gives Hokies fans a sneak peek at the campaign on the horizon and to hear the pads pop before fall. So, while you pass through the gates of Lane Stadium and jump to the familiar chords of Enter Sandman, I've made a list of a few players and storylines to keep your eyes on tomorrow. The distinguished arrival of new head coach James Franklin saw Tech dominate recruitment, surging into top 20 rankings for both the recruiting class and transfer portal on multiple online sources. Franklin brought along a flood of Penn State players and commits, each one seemingly firing up Hokie Nation more and more. One transfer to keep an eye on is 4-star quarterback Ethan Grunkemeyer, who announced his transfer to Blacksburg in January. Grunkemeyer is generally known as a pocket passer who prefers to stand in the pocket and deliver to receivers rather than improvise mid-play. Think like a younger version of Matthew Stafford leading the charge for the Hokies. Tech has historically favored the scrambler quarterback, with legends such as Tyrod Taylor and Michael Vick instantly coming to mind. This new quarterbacking style under Franklin, however, will expose Tech fans to a new brand of football. And along with any successful pocket passer comes the necessary wall of big men in front of them. The Hokies vastly improved their offensive line during the offseason, grabbing multiple transfers and commitment flips, especially from Penn State. Be sure to check out these 3 in particular on Saturday. Keep an eye on freshman Marlon Bright as he plays in his first collegiate spring game. The star lineman will reunite with redshirt freshman transfer Michael Troutman, his old high school teammate. Both were unstoppable forces at DePaul High School in New Jersey and look to revive their dominance in the ACC. And how can you not notice the 6'5", 374-pound freshman Roseby Labintus, who flipped his commitment from Penn State and will also be playing his first college spring game. The big man goes by Purgatory, a name that sets a tone that he lives up to every snap. This will be a big improvement from the past year's line, who gave up 29 sacks and struggled to protect Kyron Drones. The addition of these pieces up front will buy a substantial amount of time for Grunkemeyer, who is lethal when given time in the pocket. The tides appear to be turning in the Hokies' favor, and the spring game will be the first chance for the young team to prove it. Excitement is building in Blacksburg, and only time will tell what this team will be able to do.
Awesome stuff, Jack. Well, we're going to have to wait to see what that team does on the field in terms of play, but I know one part of football that people love a lot, uniforms, Landon.
Yeah, and not just uniforms. How about ranking them and seeing who can win? We'll start off with 4. We'll narrow it down to 1. We're starting with the 99 jerseys. Maroon, all maroon, Mike Vick against Battle of Bristol, Hokie Stones against the Tennessee Orange. Who you got?
Well, let me tell you, I think these are 2 jerseys that they've almost tried to bring back in a way, right? Because it's the classics are done so well. And so the attempt, I'll be interested to see what James Franklin's new squad brings in terms of what they currently wear. But when we're talking about the best of the best here, I wish I could have witnessed those Hokie Stone ones a little more, but I don't think I can pick it over the classic, so I'm going to stick with that 99 jersey.
Okay, 99 goes on to the championship round. Now, who's going to face them? We've got this mid-2010s. You've got the Fighting Gobbler on the helmet, but the stripes and obviously the maroon against the white with the American flag helmet.
These are both really, really well done, in my opinion. I think that getting that fighting gobbler is something that you don't see all the time with Virginia Tech sports aesthetics, with what they wear. So that stands out a lot. Also a time when the program was really successful. But I think there's something kind of just smooth and clean about that white combo with the American flag on the helmet. And I think that that's going to be what I'm going to take to move on.
All right, so we got American flag against the classic maroon. Who you got?
This is a battle.
The championship, right? It's the
Yeah,
championship.
this is it. I mean, to decide it all, because they're both really, really solid. Once again, the American flag on that one sticks out so much, but I think if I'm going to pick what the top uniform is with Virginia Tech football, I have to go with something that's been seen a lot. Well done. Tried to be replicated because of how great it really was. I got to go with the classic maroon. You think Virginia Tech, you think maroon and orange, and you think of that era that James Franklin is trying to reestablish and get back to, I got to take those 99 jerseys.
All right, so just like they did in 99, they made it to the championship this time. That jersey wins. Well, that's going to do it for our show today. Thank you to our reporters, Austin Blakeman, Hayden Tolbert, and Jack Hurlbert. For Riley Klaus, I'm Landon Weaver saying so long from the Center for the Arts, and we will see you all next week.